This is Billy. Now it's the...
What's going on, everyone? Darkside Phil here.
Then it's codename Kids Next Door. This is Cartoon Network.
Drew, what you said is silly, but I will address it. Drew just said in the stream chat, you have 800 members, but only 300 people are here for today's podcast. I hope they show up for the react. You have to understand something, Drew. All right? I'm a variety content creator. I do not just make one kind of content. I want you to think about this. Currently, I'm playing a Nintendo game, which is its own unique classification, I would feel, a competitive fighting game, and an ARPG from Blizzard. 3 completely different styles of video game, right? I'm about to do a react show where I react to clips from all over the internet, correct? That's completely different. Oh, by the way, I'm doing a podcast right now where I'm interacting and talking with you guys about various topics. You see, I'm in 1 week, I'm making 5 kinds of content. Now, even though you may say, well, you only have 300 people on the podcast, you're correct. This podcast has a certain audience. Some days we have upwards of 400, 500 viewers. Sometimes we have only 200 viewers. It really depends on what's going on. Particularly today, there's nothing too crazy going on in the realm of games or anything. So the attendance is a little lower. It's all right. But we have a regular audience that come and watch this show every day. And a lot of people even say, I like your podcast, but I don't particularly like the gameplay, but I'm here for the podcast, right? And that's good, right? If you actually add up all the viewers that I get from all over the place, you probably got, at the very least on a daily basis, a couple thousand people, different people, who are watching my content for various different reasons, right? And then when there's something happening going on, something exciting, that'll increase. So I understand what you're saying. You're like, you only have 300 people on the podcast, but 800 members. Yeah, but in reality, I probably have like 2,000 or more people who watch the content. So when you say 800 members, that's not even half of the active viewer base. You understand? Now, they don't watch every piece of content, but they're split up watching different things. You understand? GameChecker with a $30 tip this morning. He's been doing all these overnight tips for Street Fighter 6, and now this is actually his usual tip for my React content. Thank you so much, GameChecker, for all of your support of my stuff. I really appreciate that. So that being said, we're now up to $41 in tips. And GameChecker has to say the following. He says, why'd you let Bison do river dance on your face? If you don't remember from last week, that's what you said in 2009 jokingly when you predicted a YouTube commenter would say in response to Shady J losing to Bison in the same exact way for 2 rounds. Now, I began watching your content in 2010. When I went back and watched all your tournament footage after you were playing Street Fighter 4, it started making me interested in the series. This particular quote lodged in my head for years after hearing you commentate that match, and then a ridiculous thing happened. In 2012, Street Fighter X Tekken was released, and M. Bison was included in its roster. He has a new super animation, which is literally river dancing on an opponent's face. Yeah, pretty much that. Can you say DSP predicts it? Anyway, you can judge for yourself. My submission this week is simply an old video of that super. And that's what we will watch. The river dance effect of M. Bison on the face of his opponent. Here's the thing. I'm definitely not saying that that particular situation is something that influenced anything. But I will tell you something. Being that I was around back in the day, and I was one of the more influential Let's Players on YouTube. I was one of the biggest ones to do the kind of improv commentary style. My videos were getting insane amounts of views. They were going viral. They were getting into the algorithm of YouTube. When you search for new games, I was at the top of the list. I would not be surprised if some of my mannerisms and things that I said and did rubbed off on the community at large. I will tell you this, and I'm sorry if someone disagrees. I think it's bullshit. I was using the term playthrough before anyone else of prominence was using it on YouTube. No, see, Silent Weapons, you're right. People would say let's play. It would be let's play or walkthrough. No one used playthrough. I invented the word. I had never heard of the word before, and I created it on the fly. Because purposefully, I did not want to call my game playthroughs walkthroughs. I did not feel that when I was doing a series of videos on a game, that I was doing a guide. I felt like a walkthrough is someone's holding your hand and walking you through the game as a guide. Oh, you took advice, Phil. How dare you? It's not a legit playthrough. Fuck you. And I mean that. If you're just here to sit here and bitch, go away. No one cares about you. We're here to have fun with this game. We're not here to sit people whining and saying the get good mentality. That's not what the content was that I put out. So I would call it playthroughs. All right? At the time, I'm not kidding you, people gave me shit for it. If you take a look at videos back in the day, there's actually comments on them, and it's like, why are you calling it a playthrough? It's a walkthrough. The playthrough isn't even a word. Like, you made that up. And I would explain in my videos, no, I want to call it that because I don't want to be called a walkthrough creator. These are not walkthroughs. These are supposed to be playthroughs. You can find that line as early as back as 2009 in my channel descriptions. These are playthroughs, not walkthroughs. Okay? And the funny part is, now almost everyone says playthrough. It's been adopted as common terminology over the last 10 to 15 years. But back then, people actually gave me shit for using it, saying it wasn't a word and I'm saying everything wrong, right? What a weird person, what an oddball. No, you're doing walkthroughs. I was like, no, I'm not. They're playthroughs. But another major reason that I call my videos playthroughs is because everyone back then was calling it Let's Play, right? And I didn't like the whole idea of calling my videos Let's Play because that kind of felt to me like we're playing it together as a community. Now, back then, I wasn't doing interactive live streams. Okay? Maybe today you can argue. If I'm playing a game like Zelda or Diablo, there's a lot of community input. Should I start from the Adjudicator Archstone or the Old Hero Archstone? Which is closer? You're not answering the question. People talking with me in the stream chat, and that if you're calling it a Let's Play, it makes more sense because it really is a group of people contributing to the overall gameplay of the game, right? So in that regard, I could say, yeah, you have an argument, right? But back then, I was playing offline, I was playing single player, doing all solo improv commentary. How could you call that a Let's Play? It's not us playing together at all. I hated that terminology. That was another thing. Everyone would say, you're making a Let's Play. Like, no, I'm making a playthrough. And they would argue with me. No, it's a Let's Play. Everyone calls it a Let's Play. You're just being weird and calling it something no one uses. And now everyone says playthrough. In fact, does anyone even say Let's Play anymore? Is anyone even familiar with, oh, a Let's Play, right? Almost no one even uses that terminology anymore, right? It's like it's an outdated term. But everyone still says playthrough. And what's hilarious about that is, there's idiotic people out there who will say things like, oh, you're just out of your mind. That's a delusion of grandeur. No, something that's factually backed up is not a delusion of grandeur. It's you're an idiot. Dude, seriously, like, my mind is blown that there are people that stupid. Really, my mind is just like, I can't believe that there's human beings on the planet that actually are that unintelligent. Who doesn't want to look back at history because you believe negative memes and can't possibly believe that I was ever influential. Right? There was a time when I would put out a video about something going on in the US government, like SOPA or PIPA. The video would go viral and get hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of views. People who never heard about the subject matter before would be informed and actually go call their congressman. Yes, that's how influential I was on YouTube at one point. Just because you don't want to believe it, because you don't like me, and you like the negative memes about me, doesn't mean it didn't happen. It means you're a jackass. So, fuck you. If someone who's out there, I want to change history because I don't like Phil. He was never influential. He didn't coin any terms. He wasn't one of the most prolific YouTubers. He wasn't at the top of YouTube ranks. He never was good at Street Fighter. I mean, you want to talk about revisionist history, what these idiotic people have done. And then you get moronic people who are interviewing me, do no research, and then say dumb shit in the interview like the delusions of grandeur, proving how unprofessional and idiotic they are. Yeah, then you get these really stupid fucking takes from people on the internet who don't know shit. Sorry, I'm the person who was there 15 years ago, busting my ass, putting out videos on YouTube, basically changing the face of how commentary was done. Where were you? Probably taking a shit, okay? So, I don't want to hear this nonsense from idiots on the internet trying to say dumb shit, delusions of grandeur. You kiss my fucking ass. I was there. You can't change history just because you want to believe a negative meme and be toxic about me. Go fuck yourself.
Definitely, there's obviously thousands of idiots on the internet who literally the only reason that they do this, that they say this shit about me, is to get attention for themselves. They're not actually caring about me or my content or the fact that I'm a streamer. They don't actually have a personal grudge. They're just trying to get a rise out of people.
Sin of Sias, incorrect. He says, you did not invent the word playthrough. Actually, I did. If you actually look back, 0 people on YouTube were using the word playthrough. Literally just made the word because people were doing walkthrough or guide or commentary, you know, gameplay. And I said, no, it's a playthrough. You're playing through the game. It's not a walkthrough. You're not trying to walk someone through it and give them tips. It's a playthrough. That I actually created that fucking term. And then a lot of people afterward copied me.